is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 74. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E, a.k.a. Le'E James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Eastradamus, a.k.a. Pap E, O'Daniel, a.k.a. The Fashion Easta, a.k.a. Chili, Willie, a.k.a. Joe E, Chestnut, a.k.a. Eon, Stockel. Back in studio today, E. First time since our episode 50, producer Sheriff on the ones and twos. And speaking of episode 50s, we are fresh off the Texas Ring of Fire live stream, their 50th episode being recorded tonight. So congratulations again to those guys. I know it's a little bit tougher to get people from all walks of Texas soccer together to record, compared to two idiots who live down the street from each other, and already hang out. So that's a great accomplishment. Obviously, we're both fans of what those guys do. So cheers to them.
Yeah, salute to them. I was also going to say we were both fans, but you stole that from me. But yeah, definitely cheers to those boys. Thanks for having us on, and keep going strong for sure. Keep pushing.
100%. And we're serious about the Houston correspondent thing. I think we can do pretty well.
I think we just have to record one clip.
Yeah, you just on replay every week.
Everything sucks. We suck.
Well, okay, so jokes aside.
Yeah.
How you feeling this week, right? Because we're coming off the SKC win. Decent road trip, and in that 4-game set, we got the 7 points we needed. So now we're, Leagues Cup break, little bit of an exhale. How you feeling about our favorite team?
Cautiously optimistic going into this tournament, just because I know what the ramifications will be if we squander an opportunity here.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't even know if squander an opportunity here is the right way to say it. It's like, can we win this tournament is the first question. Can we actually win this tournament is the first question. And I don't think we can.
Yeah.
And just being like this is a league that has been around longer than us. Mm-hmm. They have
they're better than us.
They have a dearth of talent. Like they've been doing this for a long time, and there's no real shame in that. We're building this league with the MLS here with MLS, and this is a good way to see where we're at. It's a good way to see what it looks like. What it looks like when we're on the pitch with a much higher quality club, and I'm excited for that opportunity. And also to be like, we're obviously deeply involved in all kinds of other sports and everything, but to be at the forefront of a cup that's just starting out, and we're there day one, it feels cool because then I feel like 50 years if I make it that long.
Yeah, I'll take 20.
Yeah. It's probably about all that most could stand. You look back on it, and it'd be cool to be like, yeah, I was there when Austin FC beat Mazatlan in the first Leagues Cup game. And then I was there when FC Juarez came in and
smacked us
and won the game. You can do a little revisionist history, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited. I'm really excited, and I'd say cautiously optimistic because, to me, the health of Seba and the health of Danny is more important than paramount. Winning this tournament. Yeah. It just is. So I'm excited for it, and I'm ready for Friday. And I mean, I'm always excited, giddy, I feel like I'm trying to keep my facial expressions to a minimum, but keep smiling because I love being here in the studio. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. I love Moochie. He's not here.
Yeah. Ooh.
I don't have to constantly be looking over at him and. I'm excited. A long-winded answer for how excited I am about this upcoming tournament.
Well, I think it's a good point, though, right? Like the fact that this tournament is just starting out, and the ceiling of it is in the mold of I think you could say maybe FA Cup, right? Like all the teams in England get together, and of course this isn't all of North America, but MLS and Liga MX together in the same tournament. It just, to me, it has a recipe, especially with how MLS is, on the come up at this point.
Yeah.
it to me, it's a recipe for success. And I know a lot of people are just like, oh, it's a blatant money grab, and some people are not super interested in it. For me, as a new fan, especially one who just has no knowledge about Liga MX, and I want to.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily have the bandwidth to keep up with their 2 seasons they run every year. I'm excited to get this window into what they're working with. And not just, like you said, not just Austin, but where does the league stack up? Because this is way different from Liga MX All-Stars versus MLS All-Stars. Like, that's a friendly. Like, those guys, they care for maybe 20 minutes of that match. You know, the competitive juices start flowing, but these games are going to count, and I think more teams than not are going to care because both leagues are stopped.
I agree. I think that there's going to be a lot of interest in doing well in this tournament from the MLS side because, you know, this is a little bit of a big brother situation right now.
For sure.
And, you know, I don't think that there would be a necessarily like a back and forth between the two leagues with players and stuff like that if there wasn't, you know, a same space that they were kind of, you know, trying to combat for.
For sure.
So I'm interested, man. It's gonna be fun to see, and you know, like we're up to speed with most of MLS clubs and know where they're at in regard to the table, their major injuries. So how all of these teams play this is going to be interesting, and if the Liga MX clubs take this seriously. Like if it's a priority to them, they're in the early stages of their second season here, like 3 games in, right?
Yeah. Well, and so this is interesting. Obviously, been learning on the fly more about the Mexican League. Is that you would think that it lines up with the calendar, right? Where like you're starting in January, February. That's the Apertura, not the Clausura. It's the other way around because they actually stick with the normal soccer calendar. Like, you know, all the big leagues, you start in like July, August, right? And they are in their Apertura right now.
Okay.
Which I just learned the other day listening to Extra Time. And I think another point that they made on that podcast that I thought was interesting was that when you go to CCL, they are in the middle of their Clausura, right? We are just coming in to preseason once that is kicking off, or just starting like match day 1 or 2 when CCL begins. So we're kind of on the back foot in CCL, and maybe now here we're there early in their season and we are in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Maybe MLS has a little bit of a leg up outside of the fact that we already have almost double the teams in the field.
Yeah.
But I think once you get to the top 10 from either league, I tend to lean just towards Liga MX, you know, having the leg up here and being the favorite. If you're just betting, you know, even with almost half the teams, I would still probably take a Liga MX versus the MLS field to win this thing. But let's jump into some Austin FC talk, right? We are one of 2 groups in this tournament. 47 total teams, 45 will participate in the group stage. So Pachuca and LAFC have buys into the round of 32. The other 45 teams are in 15 3-team groups. Austin FC and Philadelphia Union, the only MLS teams that are sharing a group with 2 Liga MX teams. So we've got Mazatlan and Juarez. I'm sure some Juarez talk will bleed in here, but let's just focus on Mazatlan, which is on Friday. And first of all, it's Friday at 7:30. It was initially scheduled for 9 p.m. I think late June they said, okay, we're moving it to 7:30 for whatever reason. I'm not surprised if by the time people are listening to this on Thursday or whenever, that time is moved back again because it's going to be fucking hot again. I don't understand why they moved it up. It makes no sense.
It does not make any sense.
So Mazatlan, a relatively new team to Liga MX. They were founded in June 2020, but even before that, kind of the makings of this club, the government of Sinaloa decided to build a new football stadium in Mazatlan in 2017 with the goal of bringing, you know, a first division club to the city. The government and a group of owners from Mazatlan then came to an agreement, I think in 2020, with Atletico Morelia. And Morelia was a team that, so they disbanded, kind of moved their operations to Mazatlan in 2020. Morelia had been around for 73 years.
Oh, wow.
And had been in Liga MX from 1981 until 2020. So I I feel like I remember hearing somebody discussing, like, there was some animosity there from maybe the Atletico Morelia fans, like, you're taking or like the owners selling our team away.
We've seen it.
Yeah, it happens.
We have experienced it firsthand, and that makes sense, especially with a club that has that much tradition. You're talking 7 decades of a fucking team.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
And 4 decades in the first division.
Yeah,
because I think they used to. I don't believe they have relegation in the Mexican League anymore.
Okay,
but they used to. So yeah, 40 years in the first division. Just kind of an interesting dynamic there with this club, and of course they haven't found a ton of success. Personnel-wise, this week, they did announce today, Mazatlan tweeted out that Roberto Meraz, who is a 23-year-old center midfielder, can also play defensive mid. He tore his ACL last week against Monterrey in their third match day. He started 27 of 31, or 27 of his 31 appearances last year across both of the seasons, the kind of 22 to 23. And I mean, he's been there. This guy Meraz, he must be an academy kid from Morelia, because he had 39 appearances with Atletico Morelia. And on the current Mazatlan roster on Transfer Market, we know these values don't mean everything, but he is tied for the 3rd highest Transfer Market value on the team. So it seems like Meraz, a key player for this team that's already been struggling for multiple seasons. And that's not the only way that the injury bug seems to be also biting our opponent coming up on Friday. I believe so. Jorge and Club Deportes, when they do the FCTV broadcast Monday night, every time they're in English, I love it because I can understand, right? My uncultured ass, I actually sometimes still listen to the Spanish ones to see if I can, pick up
Duolingo.
Some live Duolingo, right, if you will. But this one was in English, and so got to listen to that, and that was great. And then Jorge did an interview, which was in Spanish, but Miguel was kind enough to put out a tweet. And Twitter's got some issues, but one thing that still does work well enough is the translate tweet button. So Miguel put out the tweet and said, I think he was having some fun. Tag Diego, said, "Hey, tell Josh Wolf that the captain of the team, who Jorge had interviewed, who I think his name is Nestor Vidrio." He said that Benedetti, I think his name is Nico Benedetti, who was the leading scorer for this team in the 22 to 23, the Apertura, the Clausura, last season. He said that he's not going to be playing. And so unless that was a joke tweet, which I don't think it was, they also may be missing Benedetti, which again plays into Austin's favor for sure. Benedetti, a Colombian 26-year-old attacking midfielder. He came up through Deportivo Cali's system in Colombia, which is where Johan Valencia came from. And I believe I heard Landon talking about those guys were actually on the same team at some point for Deportivo Cali. So I guess I'm not complaining if Benedetti is also not out there tomorrow. They also have 2 former MLS DPs that have been in the league since we've been fans. Ake Loba, who was Nashville's club record signing in 2021, I believe, $6.8 million from Monterrey, came to Nashville. I want to say he scored either 0 or 1 goals for them. And again, yeah, it's like you look at somebody like Jossie, who's not a DP. Obviously, we're paying him a lot, but Sergio Cordova 2 weeks ago had not scored. Okay, Loba, 3 goals. You said? 3 goals.
What we got here.
But still, it's like, I mean, I guess that's kind of Rigoni level, right?
Yeah.
But at least Rigoni's not a striker.
He's got 43 caps.
Yeah.
And 3 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and FotMob is showing that Benedetti is doubtful.
Okay.
And looks like he's going to be out, yeah.
There you go.
We'll take it.
So the other DP, Luis Amaria, who was in Minnesota, also on this roster and playing, their recent form, they were 14th out of the 18 Liga MX teams in the Apertura, 17 points across those 17 games in fall, winter of 2022. Then in the spring in the Clausura, they finished dead last out of the 18 teams. They had 7 points from those 17 games and a negative 22 goal differential. And again, we're only 3 matches in to the Apertura here in 2023. They are currently in 15th out of the 18 teams 2 draws and a loss through these 3 matches, 1 goal for and 1 against. They drew with Pumas and Pachuca, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's much shame in that. And then they lost 3-0 to Monterrey, and I don't think there's much shame in that either, from
agree.
what I can tell about this league. So I think there's potential that they are improved here.
Mm-hmm.
I also think this is a game Austin FC should absolutely win, almost no matter who we put on the pitch on Friday. Like I said, Benedetti led them in goals last season with 7. Edward Bello has their lone goal so far through the 3 matches in this Apertura, and Luis Amarilla leads them in XG through these 3 games with 0.8 XG. So still not a very threatening team on the offensive end, but it is still early. And again, these teams are they're a different beast.
Yeah, I mean they're one of 3 clubs with only a single goal.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's played 3, correct?
Yep, I believe yes. Everyone has played 3. They're not uber talented up and down that roster. Obviously, you said they're dealing with some injuries. We are as well. But look, coming in Austin, playing at Q2, we do have the home field advantage here. Mm-hmm. This is a team that is relatively new like us, mm-hmm. and it's probably a little more difficult to get your start in Liga MX than it is in MLS. So we can relate to them in some regard there. But look, this is a team that, like you said, we should beat. They haven't scored a goal. Was their first game they scored a goal, and they have not yet?
I believe so, yeah.
So, like, in 2 games they haven't scored. That's tough. That's frustrating. I don't forecast that they could have any sort of presence fan-wise at the stadium. So, look, it is an opportunity for us, no matter who we put out in the pitch, and we'll get into that, and we'll get into the young kids mm-hmm. who are up on the team, the young boys, that we can win.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we might be surprised at the number of purple jerseys in the stands on Friday. We might be. Okay. There's a large Mexican-American population here, or just Mexican immigrant population, and I have no idea the fan demographics of anybody that's here that are Liga MX fans. So like I'm kind of leaning the other way, where like I think we're gonna have some significant, maybe more for Juarez, because again they're just I think a little bit of a higher profile team at this point. I think we could be surprised by how much support both of these teams get here.
I would welcome it.
For sure.
Just add to the atmosphere of the game and the tournament. It'd be awesome.
Think about the friendlies we've had against Atlas and Tigres and Pachuca.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they haven't necessarily gone great on the field for us, but I think the atmosphere in the stadium, even when we're 70% full for some of those games, the atmosphere is still elevated because there's a lot of fans of those visiting teams. So I'm with you. I welcome that.
Yeah.
So we'll see on Friday. Let's talk about Austin here, because you kind of hinted at the young boys who have gotten called up for this tournament. Roster rules here: you can have a roster of 30 players, but on game day only 23, and you have to have 3 keepers active every match, which is an interesting wrinkle there. So Austin FC, 28 players on the official Leagues Cup roster. We've got our 3 keepers out there. We got Stu, we got Bersano, we got Damian. Okay. On defense, and again, these are listed by the official tags on the website. So like Alex Ring, if he's active, probably gonna play center back.
Correct.
But listed as a midfielder here. So 8 defenders. You've got Kip, you've got Hector, you've got Johnny G, who played in the All-Star game tonight. It's all right, Johnny. It's Arsenal, right? 5-0. We're okay.
I mean, they're like we were talking about before. Like, they're a club. Like
they're trying to get ready.
They practice together. Like, they play together. They have plays. They, they've been together. They're cohesive.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a great look for us.
Bring back East-West.
I don't know if it's a good look for us.
We have enough teams.
Yeah,
I think. Especially
when
if you bring San Diego, and we're going to be 15-15. We got tons of talent. And let's play a little. Let's maybe manufacture some stakes in the All-Star game.
You know how hard that is.
I know, but
it's just hard to do. It's just hard to make the guys cares.
Cash for the winners? I don't know. Something.
Some GAM?
Yeah.
Some GAM added to your Wells Fargo account if you come in first in goalie wars.
God, shout out Damien. Did you watch that?
No.
Oh man, it was brutal. First of all, first round, they pit him against Xavier Valdez from Dynados. Okay.
Oh,
look, fuck Xavier Valdez.
Spicy.
All my homies hate Xavier Valdez.
Correct.
And takes him down easy.
Of course.
Actually, I think it was overtime. But so he gets to the final against the Crown Legacy keeper, which is Charlotte's team, and lost in overtime. But hit a buzzer-beating goal to send it to OT. And he was into it too. Damien was there to fucking win. He's pushing camera guys out like, get out of my face.
Let's go.
He's shouting at the sideline when he makes it. Yeah, love it.
That's how you got to do it.
You got to be a little bit crazy to be a top keeper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to have an edge.
I think he's
man.
got it.
Yeah, you got to have an edge.
So, left off Galley, Julio, Lundqvist, Nick, Brandan, Craig, and then Czech Touré called up. Who, again, a year and a half ago was a forward.
Yeah.
Was a winger, right, for young PSV. So Czech going to hopefully get an opportunity here. Obviously, we've been big fans of all these FC2 guys. In the midfield, you got Johan Valencia, Danny Pereira, Alex Ring, Ethan Finley, Diego, Sophie Jeffel, Valentin Noel called up, Owen Wolf, Bobasi, Brahuanga. First time I've tried that in like 3 months. Micah Burton, and then 7 forwards. You've got Emmy, Jassy, Seba, Rodney, CJ called up, Will Bruin, and Maxi. So let's stick real quick with the first team guys before we talk about the young boys. Danny on the roster, Alex Ring on the roster, Emiliano Rigoni on the roster. Thoughts on that?
I don't have thoughts. I don't know what to think of that. I don't understand how we said a couple of days ago that Emmy was 4 weeks going to miss the whole Leagues Cup, and now he's on the team.
Well, you got to have him on the roster just to, like, if we're in the final, we probably want to have him on the bench if he can play.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I just don't know if you can put 28 guys on the roster, who else are we going to? We don't have many other guys. I mean, like, Amro Tarek's name is not on here. So we've got first team guys that are not making this bench. But also part of that may be that the buyout may be coming at some point.
I hope it's not part of it. I hope it is all of it.
Okay.
And
well, so I think, right, like, to me, it's only a good thing that we're including those 3 guys. Like,
okay.
Seba was always going to be included because precautionary was the term.
Yeah.
But Alex Ring, and he may still be gone at some point.
He can't play in this game, right?
I don't think he plays on Friday.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the full tournament, because championship game is the 19th of August.
Uh-huh.
So again, I think including all these guys on the roster means they're definitely not ruled out for a potential title match. Until then, I think it's a gray area at best. I don't think we certainly don't see Emmy, of course, he's ruled out. I don't think we see Alex, and I do not think we see Danny, although I did hear, like, through the grapevine, the word was better than expected.
Good.
But that's not official. So.
I I looked at it again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he broke his collarbone.
Okay.
I do think he did something, just a little something to his shoulder, a strain. Okay. I don't think he broke his. If he broke his shit,
he probably wasn't coming back out twice. Right? You're probably not coming back onto the pitch twice if your collarbone is broken.
I do not think I think you would know.
I mean, I know Danny is tougher than me, but I still don't. I don't know if many people are making it through that.
I don't think he broke his collarbone. I just feel like he would have needed much more than that to just get off the fucking field.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's talk about the young guys. Okay, we start. Damien. Damien is up. I still maintain, though, as much as I want to see Damien get the time, if Brad is not going to be in that, I think you have to do right by Matt Bersano. I think he has to get minutes before Damien does.
I 100% agree with that.
Okay. We don't need to argue about that. Check Touré. I hope he sees some minutes. And again, I think you run your guys this Friday.
You win this game.
Mazatlan is 47th in the odds to win the tournament. They are, Vegas says, the worst team in the tournament. And like we said on Texas Ring of Fire 30 minutes ago, I kind of wish we weren't playing the worst team in the tournament,
absolutely.
Just because it sets up for if we slip up.
Yep.
Everybody's coming out of the woodwork. Wolf out. We don't go after tournaments, do this and that. So then you play your guys, you get this win, and then against Juarez, maybe we see some of the young boys start. Or if not, we see them rotate in depending on how that game script plays out. But I hope Czech gets a chance. I think we will probably see an appearance from CJ Fodry at some point, maybe an appearance from Valentin Noel, and I'm a little bit more questionable on guys like Bobo and Micah. You know, some of the younger guys who don't have that first round draft capital that Val and CJ are bringing to the table.
I totally agree with that. And even if they don't, still a great experience for them.
Yeah.
To get their feet wet in this situation, in a tournament, to be out there warming up, getting ready with the big boys. Like that's invaluable stuff. But yes, that's how I would approach it.
Lineups.
Carry on. I'm figuring
Lineups.
Are we both in agreement that we think it's going to be first choice with whoever is ready to go? The guys who are healthy.
It has to be. And I think we've just kind of painted ourselves into a corner here with how we've performed in the first 2 cups that we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the fan base wants to see a good showing here. But of course a fan base is always going to want that. And, the most difficult thing about being a manager there is to be able to understand, who's ready to go, who can we potentially risk in this game. Like I said, I'm completely new to Liga MX.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a more physical league.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a more athletic league.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, what are we going to put out on the pitch that not only do we have to move forward with for the rest of the season, but can handle this potentially higher intensity game. So from a starting lineup standpoint, I do think that we need to get this game. But again, I was a proponent of playing this properly, making sure Seba's 100%. And we talk about metrics and we talk about getting to these baselines in order to be able to play. And you have to clear those things. And even if I don't think Danny's collarbone is broken, he fucked his shoulder up.
Yeah.
So even if that's not the case, where it's the worst case scenario, he's still dinged up. And the last thing we need is for him to fall on that left shoulder again and get something screwed up. So it's tough. I don't think the young guys are going to get a good mix here, but I do think what you're going to see is our main 4 on the back line, because that's the spot at this point with the injuries where we're the most solidified, because Leo's been out for months and months on end.
We've got some consistency back there at this point because we have to.
I agree. So it's Nick, it's Kippy, it's Julio. I think you get Julio his rest versus Juarez. I don't want him.
Does Johnny get rest?
What's that?
Does Johnny get rest? He's been busy this week.
Well, I can't agree to that.
Can we did we finish the Jossie discussion? Why Maxi? I don't get if you're going after it, why is it not our leading scorer?
Because I'm leaning into the narrative that I picked up in Open Cup, where I said that Maxi should just play cup games.
I disagree. Bro, if we're going after it, you play our leading scorer. He's got to be on the pitch. If you're going after it. If we're rotating, we're rotating. And if we're doing that, I don't think we're starting the 11 that we're talking about.
No Seba caps Giassi's ceiling.
Why?
Because he gets serviced by him.
He's been serviced. Hasn't he been serviced by him once this year? I think it's once. You don't need Seba to cross the ball.
You're not going to change my mind.
Okay, well.
Not after I got that one bet right a couple weeks ago.
Okay, well, I think you're wrong. I think we see Jossie because I think we're going after this game, and
I think that's fair.
I agree with the rest of the lineup, though.
Okay.
All right. Score predictions. How much is Us and FC winning by on Friday night over Mazatlan FC?
I'm going to go ahead and put it at 2-0.
Okay, 2-0.
They can't score.
Yeah, they are struggling. They have
really
struggled for
are
a long
having
time.
a hard time scoring. I think, again, we talked about, I left out Stuver because usually he's just a placeholder. You throw him in there. Plays this game, FC Juarez, Bersano gets the call.
Okay, next time, Bersano gets the call.
So Bersano gets the Juarez game,
Okay.
and we go from there. You win this one. Juarez takes care of business versus Mazatlan. That's, that they know what that situation, that matchup is.
Okay.
And they're going to have a hard time scoring on Stuver. Stuver's a quality keeper.
For sure. I agree. Just to be a little bit different, I'm going to go 2-1. We may not see Seba. we may not, right? And we know we're not going to see Danny.
I hope we don't have to see either of them. I hope the game is in hand and that we don't even have to question.
We'll see if you think that on Friday night when we see the lineup and Seba's not on there.
I'm saying once we're winning, I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I think just without Danny, probably without Alex, right? I think we could let one past.
Oh God, it's so hard. If you look at our team right now, not only are we trying to juggle this cup MLS season, we're trying to navigate this transfer window and this transfer market, and all the players that we theoretically could be moving are dinged up outside, and the other one is Rodney Redis.
Yeah, it's like dinged up or necessary right now.
Yes, so it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't move on. Like, can you move on from Rodney without getting a replacement at wing when Emmy is out for a month?
I mean, we have CJ Fodry at home. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and Brandon Van Dam. And he's never played a game.
Right.
CJ Fodry has never played an MLS game.
Right.
I love the kid.
He's played USL games and scored in USL.
Okay.
Though.
Okay. Look, I'm just saying they don't have any in-game experience.
For sure.
I don't know if that's what you're banking on going into MLS playoffs.
No, I'm not. But again, in this scenario, we would be bringing in some other wingers to take.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what it pigeonholes you into only being able to swap position for position. Like, if you move on from Alex.
Well, we've had a tough month injury-wise.
I know.
I mean, a tough season.
That's why this is a very complicated tournament for us right now.
Yeah. I think we just got to take it one game at a time, even though we're already talking about Juarez.
Amen.
Look, you get 3 points on Friday, and I think you are probably safe. You're probably moving through, whether it's first or second, because then Mazatlan would need a win, and then probably some help. If we get 3 on Friday, they would have to beat Juarez to get level with us on points, and then we have an extra game against Juarez.
Yeah.
I think you get 3 this Friday. I think we're essentially through.
Okay. I agree.
So we'll deal with Juarez next week.
Fuck them.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the tournament in general. Let's make some predictions. Leagues Cup, first time that this format has been used, but it actually goes back. This is the third time this tournament has been run, just in various formats. In 2019, Cruz Azul won. Obviously, 2020 canceled, pandemic. But then in 2021, Leon won over Seattle in the final. And last year, apparently, they had some on the schedule, but they only ran them as exhibition games due to fixture congestion for both leagues. So again, this year, all 47 teams from both MLS and Liga MX will compete. LAFC and Pachuca have byes to the round of 32 as the most recent champions of each respective league. And we're going to have some fun with this as a podcast.
Yeah.
And any of our friends that want to join in, we're going to do a bracket challenge on the Leagues Cup site. So this is leaguescup.com. You can find the bracket challenge there, and we've got a link on our Twitter account as well. We'll retweet that. We'll make sure that's posted plenty before the tournament kicks off on Friday. And so anybody who wants to join in that, to be eligible, and the prize at the end, the winner of our bracket group on the Leagues Cup website is going to win a Las Voces kit.
I need one.
So there you go.
I can't
Producer
wait.
Sheriff.
I can't wait.
Back in the building. So all you need to do to get registered for this, obviously sign up on that website, fill out your group selections, your bracket, and then on that tweet on our Twitter, retweet that and make sure you're following the podcast account. You got to do those two things. If you're in first at the end of the tournament and you have not retweeted that tweet, or you do not follow the podcast on Twitter, you cannot win the kit. So make sure you go onto the Bird app and do those things. I know we've got, I think, about 15 people already entered this afternoon into the group. So that it's going to be a blast. I'm excited to see what everybody picks, what the chalk is, how, what kind of upsets hit. And I think we're certainly going to differ here as we go through our group stage. We're going to make our group stage selections on the podcast. Lock those in right now. Okay. We will not be making our bracket picks publicly. We got to have something that, we're trying to win this too.
You can find mine on my OnlyFans.
There you go. So let's jump into these groups. Again, there are 15 groups of 3 here. There are only 3 groups in the West region. There are 4 groups in the Central, the South, and the East region. That's because LAFC, West region, by less teams there. But we'll start with the West here. And let me go ahead and for those who are watching on the YouTube, we can pull up the groups here. Again, you can see the buys to the round of 32 for Pachuca and LAFC. And we'll start with that West region. And West Group 1 gives us Tigres, gives us the Portland Timbers, and the San Jose Earthquakes. So let me ask you first. Your group picks are in?
Got them in.
Okay. How do you see West 1 playing out? Because I think, Tigres, obviously in the mix the last couple years at the top of Liga MX. We are very familiar with them coming for that friendly. Again, we didn't see the first team, but we got a little taste. And that taste was tough.
Yeah.
So how do you see West 1 playing out here between those 3 squads?
I went Tigres, Timbers, Earthquakes.
Well, that's boring. Because that's what I have.
All right.
So I think we'll we'll differentiate as we go here. But yeah, I got Tigres, I got Portland, I got San Jose. And again, the higher seeded MLS team will host both matches. And then the Liga MX team also travels to the other MLS team. And I think in some of these groups where there are 2, 13 of the groups have 2 MLS sides. I believe that match for some of the groups is at a neutral site. And it may actually just be for St. Louis because they didn't have a seed last year. But I noticed that, or not St. Louis, there's another group that is playing at St. Louis with neither of those teams playing being St. Louis City.
Okay.
Again, getting off track here. But if you want to look at the schedule, go do it for yourself. I haven't memorized all 15 groups here. West 2.
Yeah.
You get Monterrey, Rayados there. You get RSL. And Seattle. I think, to me, this is the group of death.
This is the toughest group. I'm all over that RSL train. So I went RSL, Monterrey, and then Seattle in 3rd.
Okay. I also have Seattle in 3rd, which is, CCL champs a year ago. Yep. Obviously, one of our favorite betting picks is Seattle. But I have them in 3rd as well. I could not quite get to RSL in 1st. But RSL do host both of their games. I think that's a big advantage in the elevation there, but I have Monterrey coming out of this group in 1st. So let's close out this region with West 3. That's León, Vancouver Whitecaps, and LA Galaxy, and I have them in that order. I have León, the CCL champs from this year, and then Vancouver, obviously a team that's underperforming a little bit. We know about their attack. So I've got León, Vancouver, and then the Galaxy coming in 3rd. Just the tough year, I think, continues for the Galaxy.
I think this is the Galaxy's opportunity to go out and get something done.
Okay.
So I got them winning this group.
Oh.
León in 2nd, Vancouver, because they don't know what a real soccer field is, in last place. All right? Fix your field. You'll get some respect. Now we're playing Mexican teams. What if they had to play up there?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I edited myself. I was so upset there. I can't stand it. I almost went on their Instagram page the other night. I was on there. I was just going to say, hey, bozos, get a real turf. But then I looked up how many teams in the MLS have turf, and it was like 4.
Yeah.
And I just can't go on everyone's page and be saying that stuff.
You could.
Look, I just changed my profile picture. I'm getting back out there. I'm getting back into the world. I can't be
Restrictions are coming off.
I can't be posting all this negative stuff right away. So, yeah. Fuck Vancouver. Sit down there at the 3rd spot in the group, West 3.
Well, so I think that may give them an advantage, being able to host León on that turf north of the border.
Is that where the games are?
I think, Vancouver's going to host León's playing on the road both games.
Jeez.
I still have León winning the group, but we'll see. Let's move to the Central here.
At least they're not American. At least we don't embarrass ourselves even
like
more.
Vancouver.
Yeah, at least they're in Canada.
So to the Central region here, Central 1 with Club America. You've got Columbus Crew, and you've got St. Louis City SC. How do you see Central 1 playing out here in the group
I'm
stage?
going to change it up here. I'm going to guess yours.
Okay.
I'm going to start at 3. I'm going to go ahead and put St. Louis.
How'd you guess?
Columbus Crew at 2.
Uh-huh.
Club America at 1.
That is how I have Central 1.
Okay. I got it. America St. Louis City.
Oh,
Columbus
bastard.
Crew. We keep writing them off, man. They keep winning fucking
Yeah,
games. They
fuck
got like
those guys,
some
though.
points, man. I know. I agree. Fuck them.
They're not good.
You keep saying
As
that.
they sit in first 2/3 of the way through the season.
You keep telling me.
Central 2, Minnesota United, Puebla, and Chicago Fire. How do you see Central 2?
I got Mini, Puebla, Chicago Fire.
Short and sweet. That's how I have it as well.
Nice.
We'll talk some Minnesota later, too, when we get to the betting picks. Central 3 here. FC Cincinnati. You've got Chivas and Sporting KC. I think this is a very strong group as well. Not quite like West 2.
Yep.
But I think Central 3, very, very strong. How do you got it playing out?
I got Chivas, FC Cincinnati, SKC.
Okay. I'm leaning into this is some MLS homerism for me. I got Cincy number 1. Could not quite get to SKC at 2, so I've got Chivas 2, SKC 3. And then Central 4, rounding out the Central region. You've got Nashville, you've got Toluca, and you've got the Colorado Rapids. And I have them in that order. I have Nashville taking the group, Toluca in second, and Colorado washing out in the first round. Although Colorado going to be able to host, at elevation there against Toluca. So, maybe they can sneak something, but they're bottom of the table for a reason.
Yeah, some of these MLS teams probably shouldn't be in this tournament. And I also have it the same exact way.
Okay. I was going to say, at some points this season, people may have made that argument about us.
That was years ago.
Okay, well, we're moving here into the South region. South 1 is where the good guys are stationed. You've got Mazatlan, of course. You've got FC Juarez, both coming to Austin. All these games going to be at Q2 Stadium. Austin, the third team here. How do you see South 1 finishing up?
Look, I'm going to predict an Austin win when we play FC Juarez.
Okay. Yeah.
But I got Juarez first.
Okay.
Austin second, Mazatlan third.
All right. I guess I'm being a bigger homer than you here. I got Austin in first. I got Juarez in second, and I got Mazatlan in third. I think we get it done, man. And
I know what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to manifest a round of 16 matchup. Okay. South 2. You've got Orlando City. You've got Santos Laguna. I think ex-Cecilio Dominguez team. I believe they got rid of him.
Oh.
I think.
Where is he now?
I don't know, man. I know he did. If he's still there, he's still not doing shit for them. He was not productive. And the Dynamo in that group as well. So South 2, I've got Santos Laguna winning this group. I've got Orlando City 2, and I've got Houston 3 matching up with you. So we'll move to South 3. And this is maybe the most interesting group.
This is the spiciest one.
Right? You've got Atlanta United, you've got Cruz Azul, and you've got Inter Messi CF. What do you think happens in South 3? Because I have to have it a certain way to manifest what I want to happen.
I got Miami first.
Okay.
Atlanta second. Cruz Azul third.
Okay. So I went Miami first. Yeah, this is just what I want. And just for a second, if we can say, I don't know if Messi starts on Friday.
Yeah,
Busquets there too? You think he's going to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You think he's ready?
Yeah, no, yeah, he's ready.
Okay.
He's probably been ready for about 25 years.
Okay. All right. So you have Atlanta over Cruz Azul, though. Cruz Azul, not one of the better Liga MX teams from what we can tell.
I was surprised when you said in 2019 they won. I'm looking at them now for the first time I've ever looked at a Liga MX stable, and they suck.
Yeah. So some differentiation there. Let's finish out the South region here.
Okay.
Necaxa, our buddies, FC Dallas, and Charlotte FC in this group. How do you see South 4 finishing up?
I'm changing it right now.
Okay. On the fly.
Yeah.
When we're done with this, you got to lock them in because you're on the record.
Locked.
All right.
Charlotte FC.
Whoa.
Necaxa.
Oh.
And FC Frisco at the bottom.
Oh my goodness.
Because I just can't do it. I couldn't
You're a
do
good
it.
fan.
I had him at the front too, and then we jumped on Texas Ring of Fire, and Jose is going to talk about being injured. He's going to talk about his clubs being hurt.
They have been pretty hurt.
Yeah,
you remember the team they rolled out against.
Yeah, and I remember the team we rolled out against them the first time, and we got a red card on the pitch. So yeah, I don't want to hear it because everyone's talked about B teams and F teams and you suck team.
Yeah.
So it's like nah. So this is all because of Jose.
Well, shout out to Jose, and shout out Goals TV, adding the Verde pendant today. It looked like
Always a good ad.
Shout out the Verde Pendant boys. We'll close it out here with the East region.
How'd you have it?
Oh, my bad. I don't know. I don't want to get out. Maybe I'm just ashamed. I have Necaxa winning. I have FC Dallas second. Charlotte FC in third.
Okay.
Hey, look. I had Houston in third. Couple groups ago.
Mm-hmm.
I give Dallas. They got Jesus back, right?
Is he gonna play?
At some point. Look, he just played all the Gold Cup. He played All-Star tonight. I don't know, man. He's got to play if they want a chance. They got no chance without him.
Yeah.
East region here. East one. This is the other group with two Liga MX teams. So you got Philly Union, you've got Tijuana, and you've got Querétaro, I believe is how you say that. Don't look at me like that. You try it.
No, I was trying to pick up how to say it.
Querétaro, I believe is how you say it. Querétaro.
I don't think that's probably how you say it.
Well, we'll see. Maybe we can get some feedback.
Producer Sheriff.
Maybe
giving
Producer
it the
Sheriff
thumbs
gives
down.
me the thumbs down. Let's ask Stephen Mackey what he thinks.
All right, I got Philadelphia Union, Tijuana, and the QAnon team.
I have it the same way. East 2, Montreal, the Fighting Runes, and Pumas. I think this is an interesting group here.
This is an interesting
I think
group
this
here.
is wide open.
I do think this is wide open as well. This is one of the ones that I took like a double, triple take at and really tried to figure out because obviously, you know, my affiliation, my love
Runes.
for the Fighting Runes, you know. And I think Wayne knows how to play in tournaments. Thank you, Sheriff. I think he knows how to get the job done. But I still with Pumas. So I went Pumas, Fighting Runes. I'm so over these Canadian teams. I hope they all flare out. I got Montreal at the bottom. I got Toronto FC at the bottom of theirs. I got Vancouver at the bottom of theirs.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, sanction us with your army.
Pumas been struggling a little bit to score. See if Montreal's got some. They've got some juice infused, some freshly squeezed Apoku. You know, and I think they're gonna have a little bit of an advantage being in Montreal. All that travel for Pumas, and again, Montreal is also hosting the game against DC United because Montreal was top of the table near us last year. I think they were a little bit above us in terms of the Shield standing. So I've got Montreal pulling off the win in this group. The Fighting Rooney's second, and then Pumas, as I think one of the only, you know, them and Mazatlan, I think, are the two Liga MX teams I have in third. And Querétaro as well, but both Mazatlan and QAnon they're in the two Liga MX groups. So I think this
Pumas is 1 win, 2 draws.
I'm aware. I think they could struggle here.
All right.
We'll see. You've got them first. I've got them last. East 3, New York City FC, Atlas, and Toronto.
Yep.
What do you got?
I got Atlas,
Okay.
NYCFC. This group fucking sucks.
Yeah.
This group is terrible.
Yeah, this group is not great.
And then whatever is happening in Toronto.
Yeah. So I've got NYC up top, then I've got Atlas, and then I've got Toronto.
Did you see Drake hanging out with Sexy Red?
No. Who?
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
That's why we can't get into this.
Okay. Well, East 4. Let's close it out. You've got Atletico San Luis. You've got New York Red Bulls. And you've got the New England Revolution. And I have the Revs winning this group. And then I have San Luis second. And I have Red Bulls in third. How do you see East 4 playing out?
I went with Atletico San Luis because that sounds like a good team name. I like that. I like Atletico Madrid because it's a good name for your team. They're athletic. It's a good club.
Yeah, true.
Then I got the Revs because of Bruce. And then the Red Bulls.
All right. Well, there you go. Those are our group stage picks. Those are locked into our brackets. We cannot change them. And again, if you want to find out who we've got in our bracket picks, the round of 32 onward, the knockout stages, you got to join the Northern Podcast Bracket Challenge group. Again, first in that group going to win a Las Voces kit. So
That's great timing. My computer literally just died.
There you go. Well, that's what we do here. We've got good timing, at least sometimes.
Now I've forgotten my picks.
Well, I have them right here, so I can subsidize you. But before we get to the picks, let's talk best ball real quick. It's been a couple weeks, right? We had the double game week last week. And so this is the week 23 double game week. So everybody's score is a little bit elevated. And for the second time this season,
Not Texas Ring of Fire.
a tie up top. No, not Texas Ring of Fire. Sorry, boys. Sorry about that, boys. North End Podcast, Moon Tower Soccer, holding hands to the finish line in week 23, 62 points apiece. Moon Tower, huge performance from their midfield, 16 from penalty merchant Daniel Gazdag, 15 from Carlos Heel. They get 10 from Jack Elliott, only 5 from Brad Stuver, but then 8 apiece from transfer window acquisitions Bongi Halangwane and Daniel Shallowy. Our midfield countered and actually outscored them. 17 from Ryan Gauld, the Scottish Messi, in maybe the greatest form of his MLS tenure at this point. We also get 16 from our transfer window acquisition, Emmanuel Reynoso. We got 10 from Georgi Petrovic, best keeper in the league, of course, behind Brad Stuver. But when you're talking best ball, Georgie up top.
Yeah.
And then we get 13 combined from our 2 forward acquisitions at the transfer window. Timu Puki 7, Chicho Arango 6. We are Austin TV in third, 56 points. They do get 15 from Lucas Elarayan, 14 from their transfer window acquisition, Tim Parker, and a 10 from T. Parker, correct. I appreciate that. That is accurate. Dane St. Clair 10 with the clean sheet for Minnesota at Houston. We love to see that. Texas Ring of Fire bringing up the rear, 51 points though, so not a bad showing, but still last place.
Cute.
14 from Christian Espinosa, 13 from Lucho Acosta, 10 from ex-North End player Carlos Vela. It's just not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done. 10 is not enough. Struggled a little bit on defense, only 5 from Brooks Lennon and 5 from Martin Paz because Dallas also sucks. So when we look at the standings, obviously no movement between 1 and 2. Moon Tower now at 1,072 points. North End Podcast 1,037. Still on that ass, fellas. 981 for We Are Austin TV. 899 for Texas Ring of Fire. So we're on a month-long hiatus here from Best Ball, which means we put even more emphasis on the betting picks. And let's recap what was another winning week. So I think now 3 of the last 4 weeks we've brought home units, which is not really our style. Let's be honest.
Well, look, Austin FC has been winning.
Sure. And that always helps.
Always helps the bets.
Always helps the bets. So week 26 picks recap ended up plus 3.1 units on the week. That is maybe our best week of the year.
Going on vacation.
Austin plus 120. That'll hit. RSO to win and over 1.5. That was plus 165. Nice call, Eastradamus. Carlos Heel goal to score or give an assist. That was even odds. Montreal plus 120. That hits. New England plus 105. That hits. We missed on Driussi plus 210. Coming off early. Mukhtar did not contribute to a goal. That was even odds. And Dallas got a draw with Seattle. That was plus 380. It would have been nice to hit that perfect bet, but plus 3.1 units. I'm not complaining. It gets us back down under that negative 30 mark. Negative 29.04 units. So let's pick some Leagues Cup games, E.
I don't know if we said this before, but our benchmark was to not finish with anything worse than negative 30 units.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was made clear already.
I hope so.
I hope it was. I'm gonna move this laptop next to you so you can see your picks. Start us off. You didn't need a.
I don't need
computer
technology for this. I don't need a smart laptop. ATX minus 125 versus Mazatlan. Come on down here.
Yeah.
Come on down
come
here.
up here.
Up here, Mazatlan. I'm sorry. Come on up here. I'm used to saying that, I suppose.
All right, well, so minus 120 for the good guys. Or minus 125, excuse me. I like that. I'm going to go against Houston. Fuck a perfect bet. They're going to Orlando City SC. Open Cup champions from a year ago, so this team has proven that they can be successful in a tournament like this, the External Cup, right? So a little bit different with the group stage, but I still think Houston, terrible on the road this year. And a little disjointed right now. I think have not won in at least 5 matches in the league. So, man, it's funny. It's funny how loud they were 10, 12 games into the season. Yeah, Austin, it was done. Man, Dallas fans too, man. I mean, you look at Texas Ring of Fire, you got Harry, you got Jose, you got Sam talking about, it's doubtful Austin makes playoffs. Now we sit here at the Leagues Cup break. Both of those teams looking up at us. So Orlando City minus 110 hosting Houston. We can lock that in. And what do you got next?
First, I want to say, free my man Ache Ache.
Oh, yeah?
Free this man, bro.
Okay.
Second, since you just got me riled up there, if we want to talk about Mickey Mouse Cups.
Yeah.
If we want to talk about Mickey Mouse Cups, I will talk about Mickey Mouse Cups.
Oh, let's talk.
We're talking about Dallas winning a supporter shield when there was 16 teams in the league. That is a Mickey Mouse Cup. Period.
That's like winning a conference now.
It's crazy.
Okay.
And they have the audacity. Then Houston
Yeah.
steals a team from San Jose. It's their entire fucking roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's, 14 teams in the league when
Something
they won?
like that, maybe less.
That is not real.
Boom, producer Sheriff.
So those are Mickey Mouse Cups. Okay, we are building towards something bigger and larger. They're afraid of us. I understand why they throw out these insults towards us. They have not won anything of substance in this league.
Well, especially, Houston. Especially against Austin, because Austin has won first, last, and most.
Correct.
Against Houston Dynamo. Neither team, neither the Houston Dynamo first team or Dynamo Dos, has ever brought home a point from Austin, Texas. And it's going to stay that way for fucking years to come.
Unless the league decides to just take teams out of the league. These two clubs are not it.
Yeah.
Okay, to our picks.
Yeah.
Shout out the Dallas and Houston fans. Cincy, -105 versus SKC. Cincinnati, super talented.
At home.
A lot of firepower.
10 wins, 1 draw this year.
At home. I think Joe Burrow's going to go to the game.
Is he?
I don't know.
Okay. As long as he brings Jamar with him. I want those guys together, man. I need Jamar Chase touchdowns this year. I know you would hate to see that. I'm going to go to Columbus. They're hosting St. Louis City. I don't know why I didn't remember that, because of course I'm picking against St. Louis City. Columbus are -140 favorites, but I'm going to take them to win and over 1.5 goals on the total, and that is even odds. So fuck St. Louis City. They're not good, and Columbus is going to take care of business on Friday. And now let's get into some of these Leagues Cup winning team bets, right? We're going to take some long fucking shots here.
Correct.
Let's start out with two teams that are a little bit higher in the odds, right?
Okay.
Some of the actual favorites in this tournament, and I'll let you start it off.
I went with Monterrey.
Okay.
Getting them at +1,200.
Yeah.
I know one of their players, Funes Mori.
Yeah.
And when they played Mazatlan last game, Mazatlan got a red card early. Funes Mori misses the PK in the 18th minute.
Okay.
So he's going to be on the redemption tour.
Okay, so no more misses.
Yeah, he's back, baby.
Right. Unless they meet up with Austin, of course. Let me go with a 2-pack here up top. I'm going to get one from each league. Give me Tigres, also +1,200. I think us just, 2 units on both of those Liga MX teams. I like that. And then for our MLS favorite, give me Philly.
Yeah.
Right? I've been riding Philly all year. Obviously, this kind of like Austin. The second third of the season, much more lucrative than the first third. They are +1,400. So if we're talking about favorites, Monterrey, Tigres, and Philly, we can lock those in. Let's take some long shots, though.
Oh,
and let me get the first one. Okay? Vancouver. 50-1, +5,000 for Vancouver to win this. Again, as long as they're hosting games, I think they have the advantage. You got to go across the border. You got to play on that shitty surface. No team is used to that or wants to go play there, right? Despite the fact that they may have only 452 people show up to BC Place. It's still a shitty place to play if you're a player. So I think they can maybe make a little dark horse run in this tournament. And 50-1, I like taking a shot there. So I'm going to lock in Vancouver as one of my long shot picks. I got one more, but I know you got one as well.
I mean, they have talent. They can score. They have a high-powered offense. I just you got to build a real field, man. I can't.
Well, you've seen the talk about now that Messi's here, right? That they're the
is that
discussion
what it takes? We need to get the greatest player of all time.
Maybe it
to
is.
ever play this game.
But he's here now, so let's do it.
Put grass on your field.
Well,
all right. So I've been touting RSL.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing you know about me, I put my money where my mouth is.
It's true.
So getting RSL at +6,600.
66-1.
Woo!
Thank you, Sheriff.
Well, thank you, Sheriff. So lock that in for me. They have a hard road, and that's probably one of the reasons why they're plus 6,600.
Well,
but they have really good players. They're hot right now. I like their club. You get to play in the elevation.
Host both group games.
Yes, that's a big
Chicho
plus.
Revenge Tour.
Yep. So I'm in on that one. Throw a unit on it.
All right. So RSL plus 6,600. Let me close it out here. Minnesota United, the Loons. Right?
Not the Runes.
Plus 8,000. 80-1 for a team that just got back Emmanuel Reynoso, who is the second best midfielder in the league, probably behind number 10 for Austin FC. Timu Pukki, North End Podcast fantasy asset, already scoring MLS goals. We know about Bongi. We know about Mike Boxall. And look, Mike Boxall, as long as he's not playing against my team, I feel pretty good betting on him because he's a dirty bastard.
Yep.
One of the better center backs in the league.
Yep.
And Dane St. Clair also one of the better keepers in the league. So I think 80-1 for me, Minnesota. I think they could really surprise some people. Is that a loon? Holy shit. Producer Sheriff. He's the best of the best.
Got the loon flute back there.
Look at that. And I think, look, I think he deserves a cut of this 80-1 when we cash this out on August 19th, just for bringing the loon vibes here. Okay. So Minnesota United, 80-1, we can lock that in. And those are not just our Leagues Cup Week 1 betting picks, but our Leagues Cup winners. So you can lock those in, or you can fade them and probably, cash out some money, because that's how it's been going. Minus 29.04 units. We got to stay under that 30 mark. Got to stay under that 30 mark. Anything else for you on episode 74? Because I think that's about it, man. It's going to be an interesting month with Leagues Cup, especially if we get knocked out early. Mm-hmm. We are not going to stop 2 episodes a week because we are still in season. But maybe a little bit more Leagues Cup talk. No matter what Austin FC does, I feel like I'm going to really get into this tournament because I want to learn about these Liga MX teams. I want to, Chivas playing FC Cincinnati. That's something I want to watch.
Totally agree.
So again, I get the people who are down on it. I get that. Those are completely valid reasons. But the soccer fan in me that wants to continue learning and just enjoying this extra competition that we get, I'm going to do that. So probably a lot of Leagues Cup talk coming, not just Austin FC, but the entire competition.
I'm incredibly excited to get a chance to watch these teams. Like you said before, I just don't have enough time or bandwidth to invest anything in watching these teams. So I'm incredibly excited about this. You get a chance to see Messi go out in this tournament. How are we going to handle it? I'm incredibly excited. I'll be there Friday. I'll be having a good time. Can't wait to see everybody there.
Can't wait to see everybody at Q2. I think that is there's 2 drawbacks, I think, for the Austin FC match being on Friday. And it's number 1 is that Messi also plays that night. So we're not going to be watching that. We'll watch the replay. It's fine.
Yeah.
And U.S. women kick off their World Cup group stage also on Friday night. I would love to be watching that. But again, I'm going to be watching everybody's favorite team, Austin FC, in person at Q2 against Mazatlan. Can't wait to see all of you there. And if you're still with us through this wacky episode 74, you've got 5 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can hit the subscribe button to help us grow the podcast. Hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, on this episode, like the video, hit that thumbs up button. Help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords. Atone for your sins. Wash yourselves clean in the samples of Producer Sheriff. We will be back on Sunday recapping Austin FC's match against Mazatlan FC. And talking some other nonsense, recapping the Leagues Cup first weekend, and who knows what else we get into. Maybe a guest. A guest. We've got some in the works. Oh
yeah, we do.
So once again, shout out Producer Sheriff. Shout out E. I'm Zach. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.